I asked Google's AI Bard to give me a list of the top 5 Seahawks defensive players of all time. Now, we all know AI is still working on becoming the right machinery and picking up the right things from the internet, because this list is definitely a little off. Now, there are some guys on this list that probably deserve to be in the top 5, some that aren't top 5 but deserve recognition maybe as a top 10 player, and then there's 2 guys on this list that I'm pretty surprised that Google came up with that one. At number 5, the one I was pretty shocked about was Malcolm Smith, the linebacker. Now, remember, Malcolm Smith was part of the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl team, and he was named Super Bowl MVP after having 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and pause, because that wasn't even the right stats. That's what Google AI had to say. Now, this is why this Google AI thing is interesting. We all know he was Super Bowl MVP with 9 tackles, a pass deflected, a fumble recovery, and the 69-yard pick 6 for a touchdown. Probably one of the most impressive defensive games in the history of a Super Bowl. But for him to be number 5 on an all-time Seahawks list is pretty crazy. Now, remember, when I read some of these stats, I wanted to correct it with Malcolm Smith, because this is what Google AI is saying. This is why they're putting these guys on the list. So, number 5 was Malcolm Smith, and number 4 is Bobby Wagner, a guy who deserves to be on a Seahawks list, of course, especially for top 5 guys in defensive history. But there's guys ahead of him that probably don't deserve it, in my opinion. Bobby Wagner is what they wrote, is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. He has been a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 6-time All-Pro. He was also named NFL's Defensive Player of the Year in 2016. Wagner is the Seahawks all-time leader in tackles with 1,383 tackles. The one comment I have there is, I know he did not win Defensive Player of the Year in 2016. This is where AI gets a little sketchy sometimes, so we always got to watch out. Maybe it's not fully ready yet. Number 3, Kam Chancellor, who is also one of my favorite Seahawks of all time. Probably not number 3 greatest Seahawks defensive player ever. There's probably a couple guys that would go ahead of him, including Bobby Wagner, but this is what Google had to say. Chancellor was a hard-hitting safety who was a key member of the Seahawks Legion of Boom defense. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. He was also named to the NFL's 2010s All-Decade Team. Chancellor is the Seahawks all-time leader in interceptions, 28. Somebody fact-check that. Is he really the all-time leader in interceptions? I don't think that's correct. On to number 2. This one's a wild one. They put Bruce Irvin at number 2. Bruce Irvin is a Seahawks through and through. He's a Seahawks talent through and through, whatever you want to say. But there's no way he would ever make a top 5 greatest Seahawks defensive players ever list. But they wrote he was a key member of the Seahawks Legion of Boom defense. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time All-Pro. I don't know if he was. He was also named Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012. And Irving is the Seahawks all-time leader in forced fumbles with 29. Not sure if that's correct either, but I can't believe Google AI didn't have a list that included, some of the all-time Seahawks greats and has Bruce Irvin at 2. And at number 1, they didn't mess up too badly. Cortez Kennedy. Kennedy was a dominant force on the Seahawks defense for 11 seasons. He was a 10-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro. He was also named to the NFL's 1990s All-Decade Team. He is the Seahawks all-time leader in sacks with 133.5 and is a member of the Seahawks Ring of Honor, and he is a member of the Hall of Fame. Not sure how many of those are 100% accurate, but a lot of it is true because he is a Hall of Famer. He's a Ring of Honor member, and he might be the greatest defensive player with a couple other names. They're missing Kenny Easley. They're missing the Earl Thomases and Richard Shermans of the world. There's a lot of different ones you could probably get to. I just think the funniest part of this list was Malcolm Smith and Bruce Irvin, although Malcolm Smith was an MVP for the Seahawks, so that one's not the craziest one in the world, but probably would never make a top 5 list for a Seahawks defensive player ever. I want to know, what's your real top 5 Seahawks ever list? Put those in the comments and let me know. And please like and subscribe. You know how it is. I need all the love and support I can get. You guys are the best. Love y'all. Peace.